Welcome back to Rock Your Best Vocals. Jim Chandler here. Today we're going to talk about Scott Weiland. What a legend. I can't believe I haven't done a video on Scott Weiland, but a friend of mine's band put up a cover of Plush. And it occurred to me that, oh my God, like I actually listened to a lot of Scott Weiland's vocals only tracks. And I was like, there is something there that he has that every other incredible vocalist has. And I'm going to play this track, this friend of mine's cover of Plush. And I'm not playing it because it's bad. I'm playing it because it's good. This is just to show how excellent Scott Weiland is with the tone of his voice. Okay, so first I'm going to play this friend of mine's cover of Plush, right? So we're going to listen to this cover of Plush, and then we're going to listen to Scott Weiland, just the isolated vocals of Scott singing Plush. And then we're going to listen to some other tracks of Scott Weiland just to understand kind of a bit more about what he's doing that every other like really, really incredible singer does, that you can do too with the right coordination and with the right practice of what I'm going to show you what he's doing. So let's first listen to this cover of Plush. It's just to get an idea of like, that's a good cover. Like it sounds very, very good. So there was a little bit of a little bit of tentativeness on the "and I feel," but he was kind of just, like singing it the way he's comfortable singing it. But now we're going to listen to Scott Weiland's isolated vocals. I'll put the links down in the description box if you want to go and like listen along with yourself. Listen with yourself later at a later date.
And I feel the time's a ways to go. So where you go into tomorrow?
So listen to the brightness. Okay, it's very important. The brightness that you hear in his voice. Listen for that brightness.
And I feel the time's a ways to go.
There's that. A time's a ways to go. So there's that. Time's a ways to go. There's a really nice vocal fold closure, and that's what brings that brightness. And also this, everything else is out of the way. He sings with a very good open throat technique. When you listen to the very beginning of this, you hear what he's doing to set up that open throat. Open throat is just relaxed throat, okay? It's just, everything is relaxed. Like, take this, okay, the breath in. Now listen to the beginning of this. This is key. So you hear that little breath. And I feel. So he's got that brightness. The time's a ways to go. There's another thing that he does I'll get into a little bit later but it's to do with support. And because support is so important to good singing, I put a course together called Singing Support Secrets, and I'll put a link below in the description to that. And that will give you everything that you need to understand how to use your support correctly so that your voice is working efficiently. You're not over projecting or overusing your voice. It's all down to support. It's so key. So click the link down below to get that course. Let's move on, just to understand a bit more about what he's doing.
So where you go into tomorrow, and I see.
So there's a real kind of a round back of the mouth. So where you go until tomorrow, and I see. It's really round in the back. He's got very good tonality, starting with those bright vocal folds. When you start with the bright vocal folds, you can move the resonating chambers, which is everything else up here in the back of your mouth, like lifting the soft palate, kind of getting this yawny shape in the back. And I feel. So let's move on.
These are lies to come. So would you even care?
So would you even care? So he's not doing anything really spectacular, but his tone is just beautiful. It's just so nice.
And I feel
Sounds like there's doubling there, but
And I feel it.
maybe there's not doubling. Maybe it's just with the effect, but he's leaning into that a little bit more. And I feel it. So I'm leaning into it a little bit more than he's doing.
And I feel it.
So you start off with it, and I feel it. You can kind of lean in a little bit more with your support. Like we're lifting the support. We're not pushing down. We're not trying to like force anything down. We're lifting everything up. Right? That keeps the pressure off of the ribs. Like you can keep your good expanded ribs. And this is what I was going to mention about if you see Scott Weiland performing live, he often would dance around like this with his arms out, the ribs wide, arms out, keeping that pressure up off the ribs. And when you lean into that, just kind of adding a little bit of compression from the bottom, right? Compression from the bottom. Compression meaning you're lifting up from the bottom and you're stopping the air here. You're not kind of allowing all this air that you're pushing up to just come out, okay? You don't want to push a lot of air out. You don't want to leak a lot of air. It's a lot about holding back that air as you're pushing up. And I feel it. So I'm leaning in to get like more than he's doing, right? So that's I'm pushing in more. And I feel it. So you just find the right little amount of push in for the distortion. I mean, let's move on.
And I feel when the dogs begin to smell her.
And I feel when the dogs begin to smell her. So he's leaning into that a little bit more. And I feel when the dogs begin to smell her.
Well, she smell alone. Well,
Okay, so that you can hear a little bit of a cut off at the end, but just listen for that breath before the line. Listen.
well, she smell alone.
You heard that breath.
When the dogs do find her, got time, wait.
So he's leaning out. Got time to wait. Time. So that's the kind of like that buzzer sound. But it's a little bit lower. If you go, it's a little bit lower. Lower in the throat. Okay. If you can get this buzz. Well, the dogs will find her. So let's go back to that. Listen for that breath again at the beginning of that line.
When the dogs do find her, got time, wait for tomorrow. But you find it.
To find it. So he gets a little, to find it. So that's that buzzer, but it's lower. To find it. It's not up. To find it. To find it. You could really make that really go really low. But you're kind of, it's not up here. I'm down to wait for. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of holding back that air as if I'm jumping underwater. Well, the dogs are find her. So I'm trying to like imagine like I'm jumping underwater and trying not to blow any bubbles out. Well, the dogs do find her. So like that's very key, is holding back the air. So key.
You find it, you find it. When the dogs do find her, got time, wait for tomorrow. But you find it, you find it, you find it.
And so that you hear that brightness, to find it. So we get that brightness, that bright vocal fold. It's kind of like, you think like this, like, I'm kind of thinking of a yawn. To find it, to find it, to find it. Well, so that's the, so if you think even like, kind of like a little tiny bit of breath first. the dog. Hey. So you don't really want to push that breath out like too much before, but that's the kind of feeling of to get that, just the feeling of just the vocal folds kind of just starting to clasp on. Hey, the dog's a finder. So, I'm opening up, getting everything out of, the dogs do find them. So let's move on. So let's listen. We're going to listen to the end, right, of the both of them, because listen for that brightness. And so I'm going to play this friend of mine's. So you can hear how dark. It's almost, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it's like, it's almost like kind of a bit more of a forcing. A lot of people get into this where they push a lot of pressure up in the throat to find it, and a lot of breath. And that reduces the clarity of the voice. And that's good. There's no problems with that. So listen to the brightness.
To find it, to find it, to find it,
to find it. It's very bright.
to find it,
To find it.
to find it, to find it,
To find it. So I kind of leaned into it a little bit, get a bit of distortion, but start off with that bright. To find it. So let's listen to the friend of mine's version, which again, right? Not bad, not a bad version. So he was to find it. So it wasn't miles away from it, and it wasn't too pushed, forced. I mean, like I said, they did a very good job. Okay, now we're gonna listen to Wicked Garden from Core, and this album like really gripped me because I was like, his voice, he's got this. It's the distortion that he put into his voice. This kind of gritty, gargly distortion that really had me kind of mesmerized and going like, this guy, this is cool. Like I loved this album. I played this album nonstop. But anyway, let's listen to Wicked Garden.
can you see?
I mean, listen to the beginning. Can you see? He really kind of launches into that. You can hear the breath again at the beginning. Can you see? So that's compression, what he's doing. But has this open throat before he does it. So it's like almost like when I think about this, it's like this, like that kind of a puking sound, like, and you see. So he's lifting up, everything's pushing up from below, but stopping it here, but not before he allows that brightness of the vocal folds to come through. That's very important.
Like a child.
Like a child. So he's really good with that gargly distortion.
Can you see what I want? I want to run through your wicked garden.
I want to run through your wicked garden. You can hear the vocal folds down in that brightness of the vocal folds coming through. I mean, that is what makes an excellent thinger. That's what makes an excellent thinger, is the vocal folds ringing through all of that additional work that they're doing to kind of shape the sound. It's very important.
That's the place to find you. 'Cause I'm alive, so alive now.
'Cause I'm alive, so alive now. It's just amazing that.
I know the darkness binds you. Can you see?
Again there. Can you see? Kind of like eases into that.
With
Doubling.
Can you speak without lies? I want to drink from your naked fountain.
Okay, so that's not as like gargly distorted. The brightness is in there. I want to drink from your naked fountain. So there's like, I mean, let's go back to listen to that again, because that's.
I want to drink from your naked fountain.
I want to drink from your naked fountain. So there's a little bit of a golly divine. He's starting off with this. I want to drink. So I'm doing that by starting off with that nice and I'm lifting, kind of like using the puke muscles, right? Puke muscles, not poopy muscles. You want it to go up this way, not down that way. Very key. Let's move on to some other. Oh yeah, this one, Tripping on a Hole. This is a really good track to hear a very clear indication of his actual tone, like a good clean.
To cut out my paper heart, I am dying anyway.
Take a look at
And there's the effect.
never trust in dirty lies.
Sipping lemon yellow booze, only Billy sings the blues.
Only Billy sings the blues. You can hear the clarity in his voice. Not in that part. Then there's an extra effect here.
I'm not myself, I'm not dead and I'm not for sale.
So there, you can. He's got that is a very kind of a forwardy placement sound. I'm not myself. I'm not dead. I'm not for sale. I'm kind of trying to put it on everything. I'm dead. I mean, that's kind of the tone he's gotten that.
Only Billy sings the blues.
All dressed up on wedding day, keep on tripping and away.
I'm not myself, I'm not.
I said I'm not myself. I'm not dead. I'm not for sale.
Not for sale. So keep your bankroll lottery, eat your sons and deathbed Motorcade.
Fake the heat and scratch it.
So at the end of that line, he's got there's a little bit of a rasp, not just the kind of gargly, just yeah, deathbed Motorcade. So listen to the end of it.
Fake the heat.
Yeah.
And I'm not for sale. So keep your bankroll lottery, eat your sons and deathbed Motorcade.
Deathbed Motorcade. No, so it's kind of like a little rasp. Yeah, you just get it like I'm kind of sighing a little bit. Deathbed Motorcade. So I mean, it's trying to kind of place it here. Yeah, Deathbed Motorcade. Anyway, let's go.
Fake the heat and scratch.
I love these clean clean sections there.
So keep your bankroll lottery, eat your sons and deathbed Motorcade.
Fake the heat and scratch the edge, skinned up knees and soft.
I love these clean parts here, like this.
Deathbed Motorcade.
Fake the heat and scratch the edge, skinned up knees and soft lips.
Skinned up knees and soft. You listen to the clarity of it. Skinned up knees and soft lips. So it's a weird miking technique. It sounds like they just have like a mic in the room, but it's not close to him. It's not like right up in his face. It's kind of just like, it's almost like a little bit of a distance mic trip. It's great. Listen.
Go, it's hard holding on. One more trip and I'll be gone.
One more trip and I'll be gone. You can still hear that clarity, that brightness. One more trip and I'll be gone. So if you try this, where you take that breath in and allow that little brightness of the vocal folds, having everything else out of the way. One more trip and I'll be gone. You'll start to hear it in your own voice, that brightness come through. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it for, I mean, I know there's a ton of other, let me know if there's any other Scott Weiland songs that you want me to kind of analyze, pick apart. Because he goes through like a ton of different techniques. But the main things about Scott Weiland is that brightness of the vocals, the good support. Make sure your ribs are expanded, right? You're keeping that, if you watch him live, he's got his arms up off of his ribs so he can expand his ribs, and you'll see he's pulling in with his gut, in and up, right? Keep that pressure off here, like this kind of, when people, like, I think there's so many vocal coaches that do rock, like that teach rock, that talk about like kind of this bearing down or like lifting something heavy. Okay, and that, when I do that there, it makes me feel like my head's gonna explode, right? I've talked about that before as well, because that's kind of a part of it. You want this, that's the feeling of it is like that, but you have to have this all loose. And if you're just trying to lift something heavy, you're putting a lot of pressure up in here, and you can feel it up in your head when you're doing that. It's like if you go to lift something heavy, you're like that. I guess all this pressure up in there. But you have to keep that pressure off of that. So when I've talked about it before, I said you do, it's like that, but you want to keep the pressure off. I tend to think of it more of like, okay, you're taking a deep breath, like you're jumping underwater, trying to hold back the air, like you don't want to blow any bubbles, or like something stinks in the room, like, I am, I said I'm not myself, I'm not man, I'm not for sale. So I hope this video has helped you to understand how to sing a little bit more like Scott Weiland, or at least to just appreciate what an excellent voice he had. That brightness in his voice, that ability to add that gargly distortion stuff to really make it like rock, and such excellent support. So I hope all these tips that I've given you have helped you. And let me know in the comments below if you want me to analyze any other Scott Weiland songs, or anybody else. Let me know. Thanks. Rock your best vocals where your best keeps getting better. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.